IELTS Vocabulary for Academic Writing Task 1. Bar charts. When describing bar charts in IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, it's essential to use specific vocabulary and follow a structured approach. Here are some key points. Understanding bar charts. A bar chart visually represents data using bars. Focus on the highest, lowest, and significant differences. Vocabulary for describing trends. Increase, values going up. Decrease, values going down. Fluctuate, varying values. Remain stable, values staying the same. Significant, emphasize important changes. Gradual, slow changes. Sharp, sudden or steep changes. Peak, the highest point. Trough, the lowest point. Sample sentence structures. The highest figure was in country, year, while the lowest occurred in country, year. In every year except one, country had a higher rate number than another country. Notably, interesting observation. Useful vocabularies for bar chart. Words with one syllable. High, low, higher, lower, the highest, the lowest. Words with 3 syllables or more. Productive, effective, popular, more productive, more effective, more popular, the most productive, the most effective, the most popular, less productive, less effective, less popular, the least productive, the least effective, the least popular. Words ending in Y. Wealthy, wealthier, the wealthiest. Short words ending with a constant vowel, constant. Hot, cold, hotter, colder. The hottest, the coldest. Irregular, good, bad, better, worse, the best, the worst. 2 important grammar rules for this part. 1. Comparatives are made with more, but never both. The weather is getting warmer. The game is getting more popular. 2. Use superlatives to compare people and things with the groups or categories that they belong to. Mary is the tallest of the 5 girls. James is the oldest person in the class. Other important language. Comparatives and superlatives are useful to compare and contrast information, but they won't be enough in the exam. Here are some other useful words and structures that look at differences between data. Transitions. The UK consumes nearly 120 million tons of chocolate per year, however, it produces only 2% of the chocolate sold in Europe. Spain produces large amounts of olive oil. In comparison, Italy produces very little. China consumes more than a quarter of the world's meat. On the other hand, Germany consumes just 1.2% each year. Subordinating conjunctions. China consumes more than a quarter of the world's meat, whereas Germany consumes just 1.2% each year. While Germany consumes nearly 80 million tons of rice per year, it produces none. Although Italy produced over 6 million tons of olives, Spain produced almost double during the same period. Here are some structures for discussing similarities. India consumes almost 100 million tons of rice per year, similarly, China consumes 118.8 million. Other structures. Both the UK and Spain produce medium levels of carbon emissions. Austria produced the same amount of butter as Switzerland. Wind power accounts for the same total energy production as solar power does. Like Thailand, Malaysia produces 30,000 bottles. Comparing data. Similar, the 2 datasets show comparable trends. Different, there is a noticeable contrast between the 2 sets of data. Greater, the first dataset has a higher value compared to the second one. Lesser, the second dataset has a lower value in comparison. Describing trends. Increasing, the data shows a steady upward trend. Decreasing, there has been a gradual downward movement in the numbers. Fluctuating, the data is volatile with frequent ups and downs. Consistent, the values have remained stable throughout the period. Implying importance. Critical, this data point is vital in understanding the overall trend. Prominent, This factor plays a dominant role in the analysis. Substantial, the increase in sales is significant and has a major impact. Minor, this change is relatively insignificant and can be overlooked. Bar charts for IELTS writing. A bar chart is just another way of expressing data. For Task 1 of the IELTS writing test, you may be asked to write about a bar chart. You will have to write more than 150 words, and it is recommended that you do this in 20 minutes or less. It is important to note that you do not have to describe everything in the chart. Part of the task is picking out and describing only the relevant details. That usually means the highest, the lowest, major differences, anything interesting. Look at an example in order to understand it better. In this bar chart, our eyes are naturally drawn towards the highest and lowest figures. The highest was in Sweden in 2012 and the lowest was in Finland in 2012. Therefore, both the highest and lowest figures occurred in the same year. That's interesting. Another interesting factor is that, in every year except one, Sweden had a higher divorce rate than Finland. It was only in 2015 that Finland's divorce rate was higher than Sweden's. Thanks for watching.